If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and another tutorial. Today I'm happy to sew along with you the Neo Crossbody a Kaur threads pattern. First, let me show you some of the amazing features of this tiny yet mighty bag. So in the pattern, she gives you an option to do it as a crossbody or as a wristlet. I have chosen to do it as a crossbody. You'll see here the connectors are on either side of the zipper, and that is to make it so it doesn't twist and it sits nicely against your body. On the back, you have a fairly large zipper pocket. On the front, underneath this flap, you have a slip pocket, which fits a phone really well. Now, this is an iPhone 15 Pro Max, and you can see it fits into that pocket perfectly. Perfect cell phone pocket. On the main compartment, we have 8 card slots on one side, as well as a slip pocket behind that, and a zipper pocket on the other side. And it's fairly roomy for a small bag. Things I did differently in this. The only thing I really did different was I did a double-sided crossbody strap, mainly because I made this out of my scrap bin. So I didn't have the 4 inches to do a 1-inch strap, but I did have 2 inches of each of the 2 colors I chose to use in this. So it was perfect for making a double-sided strap. Other than that, everything else I did as per the pattern. One thing I will say to be careful of, so see where my nameplate is here? So you put that on, I put that on before the top stitching, and you can see how close that top stitching came. I was sweating it. So if you have a larger nameplate, do not choose to put it here. I believe in the pattern she puts it on the back, but I always like mine to be front and center, but I didn't take into account how close that was. But I just used a zipper foot and I was able to get by my nameplate. Thankfully, it's only a 1/2 inch tall, so I cleared it. I will do it on my next one, but I just wanted to let everybody know, if you have a wider one, be careful with that. The materials I used in this bag, as all my vinyls are from Galaxy Custom. This pink, I think this is called, I don't remember. It's a leopard luxe. This peach color here, or this salmon color, I guess it matches this perfectly. Unfortunately, was a one-time buy that she had once upon a time, and it just matched this so perfectly, and I had just enough scrap to use these two together, so I was super happy about that. What else? My hardware is all from Emmeline bags. My cotton, I don't know, it's just something that I had again in my scrap bin. Interfacing in this bag, all my cotton pieces I backed with Fuse Lite, which is an Emmeline bags interfacing similar to an SF101. I did decide to use the optional heavier interfacing for the flap and the exterior of the front slip pocket. It calls for Decava Light. I used Fuse Heavy, which is Emmeline bags again, but it's a woven interfacing, and it just sticks so well. So I did add those in. So again, I used Fuse Heavy from Emmeline bags, or you can use a Decava Light. Besides that, there is very little interfacing in this bag. It is amazing. It comes together so fast. It looks complicated, but it's actually super easy. Yeah, it's a definite fun sew. So yeah, this is a bag that we did do in our 2024 Tuesday made classes. So if you needed a slowed down version of this, you can definitely join the membership side of the channel and catch the replays of the classes on this if you were not part of that. What else? Oh, I'm just excited. How about we get to making this bag?
You're going to need some rivets, number 5 zipper tape, a slider, 2 swivel clasps, 2 D-rings, a magnetic snap, 3 zipper pulls, and of course your nameplate. You're going to need your crossbody strap pieces, exterior top panel A, 2 of those, 2 connector pieces, and a zipper tab, your bottom panel B, your flap lining and exterior, your front pocket lining and exterior, your zipper pocket lining piece, your facing piece, 2 interior lining pieces, a zipper pocket lining piece, your card slot piece, your card slot back piece. Now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to do my crossbody strap off camera. If you need a class on how to do that, it's down below in the description. Okay, so we're going to work on our connector pieces. I've used a little piece of double-sided tape here. I'm going to fold those long edges into the center on both sides, and then I'm going to go ahead and top stitch down both of those sides. So that's that done. I have a little bit of double-sided tape on the bottom of one short end. I'm sliding my D-ring in and bringing those short ends wrong sides together like so, and using a clip to further hold those in place. Go ahead and set those aside for now. Okay, so we're going to work on our flap pieces. So I'm going to take my flap lining piece, which I'm doing in this leopard print. I'm doing vinyl for both of my flap pieces, and the solid is going to be my exterior. Mark your top and bottom centers. My exterior, I have my Decovil Lite outside of the seam allowance, of course. Now we're going to use our pattern piece for the placement of our male side of our magnetic snap. Just mark that with an erasable pen onto the lining piece and go ahead and install the male side backed with the scrap of Decovil Heavy. So that's done. I like to put a piece of Gorilla Tape over top of that for extra security. Now put these right sides together, matching up that top center, just to kind of hold it in place, and clipping around the other 3 sides. Now we're going to take this to the machine and we're going to sew around those 3 sides, leaving the top straight edge open for turning. Now I'm going to take my pinking shears and just around the curvy part, I'm going to just trim that down to about 1/4 inch seam allowance, just where the curves are, not on the straight edges. And then go ahead and turn this right side out. Roll those seams in between your fingers and secure that seam with clips to prepare for top stitching. So once you have it all nice and taut, go ahead and top stitch and baste along the top edge. So you're going to baste along here and top stitch around the curvy parts. Now this is that all done. Now we're going to take our pocket pieces. So I have my, this is the exterior slip pocket. I have my exterior piece here. I'm finding my top and bottom centers. And then once again, I'm going to use my pattern piece to mark the placement on here for the female side of my magnetic snap. Again, using an erasable pen, go ahead and install the female side of the magnetic snap backed with the scrap of Decovil Heavy. So that is all done. Now we're going to take the lining piece and that exterior piece and put them right sides together, and we are going to just clip along the top, matching up our centers. And sew across here with the seam allowance in the pattern, flip it wrong sides together, and top stitch. That is that done. She looks good. Now we're going to take our front exterior main piece, find your top and bottom centers. You're going to lay that right side up and take your pocket piece also right side up. Match up at the bottom center so you know they're nice and even. Clip in place, as well as clipping in place on the sides. And we're going to baste all of that all the way around, including the boxed corners. Okay, now we're going to take our flap and you're going to put the magnetic snaps together, and then you can go ahead and you can clip the top of the front main panel and the top raw edge of the flap together like so, and baste that in place. So there is our front pocket done. Now we're going to take our top panel A, one of them, find your top and bottom centers. And we're going to put this right sides together with this piece here, matching up that center and clipping across. Go ahead and sew across there. You're going to flip it up and then top stitch through the top panel. I went ahead and put my nameplate on. Now, if you have a wide, like a high nameplate, do not put that here. It will not fit well for top stitching later. Okay, so we got our main back panel here, and I have my zipper pocket facing. I've already marked on the wrong side of my zipper pocket facing the lines as per the pattern. I'm matching up the centers, clipping it in place. I'm also going to take some pins and put them right in here. This is an area that we will be cutting away, so it's okay if you put holes in your vinyl. And then we're going to stitch along those markings like so. So that is done. I've also gone and I've made these angled marks as per the pattern, and I'm cutting into those marks towards the corners of our stitching, being very careful not to cut our stitching. Then you're going to flip these wrong sides together, rolling those seams between your fingers to get them nice and taut. Now you can go ahead and you can take this side to the iron and press it. Just be careful not to touch the vinyl with your iron. Okay, so this is what that looks like, all nice and pressed into place. Now we're going to take that zipper pocket lining for the exterior. I've marked my top and bottom centers. I am going to use double-sided tape here, but feel free to use clips if you prefer. I've put the tape right along the top side here. I have my zipper with my zipper pull closing to the right here. My lining piece is right side up and my zipper is right side up. I'm sticking it down and I'm going to go ahead and baste that in place. Next, I'm going to go ahead and press this like so. So now you see the front side of your zipper tape is up and the wrong side of your lining piece is up. On the back side of my main panel on the facing, I'm going to use some double-sided tape and I'm going to put it on top of my zipper. So my zipper is right side up, my lining zipper, my zipper pocket lining is wrong side up, and my main piece is right side up. And you are going to match it up nice and centered, just like so. The lining almost lines up perfectly against that facing. If you need a guide, stick it down nice and even underneath that zipper, making sure you're going to have a nice and straight zipper. And it should line up perfectly with the top of your zipper tape as well, just like so. When you like how it's placed, go ahead and top stitch here, across here, and up here. Now that that's done, we're going to take our lining piece and we are going to flip it up for our zipper pocket lining. So we're folding it in half, right sides together, and we are lining it up nice and centered with the top of the unsewn side of our zipper. Now we're not going to sew this part just yet. We're just using the clips to hold it in place. So we can go ahead and sew down the sides of the zipper pocket, just the lining sides, making sure that you do not catch the exterior. Once you have those sides sewn, then you can go ahead and baste the top in place on the unsewn side of the zipper. Like our front piece, we're going to take our pattern piece A, find our top and bottom centers, and we're going to put this right sides together with the unsewn side of that zipper, like so, matching up our centers and clipping across. We're now going to sew across here, flip that up and top stitch through the top panel just like we did with the front panel. You'll also want to change into your zipper foot here to get a nice and even seam allowance and a straight zipper. We're going to take our connector pieces and we're going to measure up from the wrong sides as per the pattern and make a mark with an erasable pen. On our main panels, we're going to measure in from the right side as per the pattern. And then we are going to place those connector pieces to the left of that line that we just marked on both, as well as having the raw edge lining up the line that we drew on the raw edge of our connector piece to hang over the top raw edges of both of these. So they're like this, so when they are wrong sides together, they should be on opposite sides, and we've basted those in place. Now for our card slots, I've already gone ahead and made my markings, so follow along in the pattern measures to do this. You have your first line, you're going to bring your second line up to that line, hold it with clips, skip over the third line, go down to the fourth line, finger press that and bring it up to that third line, finger press across, hold it with clips, and so on and so forth for the remainder of those lines. Once you have those all in place, give it a good press. Once pressed, take a card and just make sure the depth is good, which mine is. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to top stitch all of those folds, making sure that they don't get caught amongst those top stitches. Okay, so that is good. You're going to look at your pattern and you're going to figure out what this is going to measure, and if you need to trim any off, mine is good. Go ahead and mark down the center line as per the pattern measurements, making sure this is definitely centered. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we are going to top stitch the sides to hold those in place and then stitch up the center to create our card slots. Now we're going to take our card slot back, and on the bottom of that, we're going to leave an opening as per the size in the pattern. We're going to put those right sides together, making sure the opening is of the card slot, or of the card slot backing, is situated to the bottom of the card slots. Use clips to hold all of these in place. And then at those opening marks, that's where we're going to start and stop with the back stitch, go all the way around and stop at the other side, leaving that opening to turn. Now for all of our corners, we just want to go and cut them on an angle without cutting our stitching. And then go ahead and turn this right side through, pressing out your seams and your corners. Go ahead and give this a good press, folding in those raw edges at the bottom. Now I forgot to top stitch the top of my credit card slots here, so make sure you do that first. Mine isn't because I forgot, but that's okay. Next, we're going to take our lining piece and we're going to measure down as per the pattern measurements. I'm going to put some double-sided tape along the bottom of my card slots. You could also use pins if you prefer. And you are going to place this as per the pattern measurements, nice and centered. And then you're going to go ahead and top stitch along the 3 sides here of our card slots, leaving the top open for our slip pocket. I've also put some rivets in there just for some extra security for our stitching. Okay, so now I've already done my zipper pocket, leaving it open for turning. Classes for that is down below in the description. Now I'm going to take my main top zipper and I'm going to fold these edges in like so, the top of our zipper, at a 90-degree angle, making sure that they line up good to one another, holding those with some pins, and then you can go ahead and you can baste those curves in place. So that is done. I'm going to trim up my wings like so. I've cut off the excess zipper tape as per the pattern measurements. I'm going to put a little bit of tape on the other side of my zipper here. Actually, I'm going to put it along the center line of my zipper tab here. I've marked my center line. Remove some of that tape, or the paper of the tape, and line it up, the raw edge of your zipper tape, with the line you drew in the center of your zipper tab, making sure they line up on both sides. And then you're going to top stitch along that raw edge right there, making sure both sides are caught, which is it is. Fold your zipper tape in half and mark your centers on both sides with an erasable pen or within the seam allowances. I like to do my right and wrong sides here. Okay, you can once again use double-sided tape or clips, whatever your preference is. On my main my main front panel, I'm going to put my double-sided tape on like so. You're going to see how close my stitching actually comes to my nameplate. I was close. Do the same on your lining side, just along the top. Okay, so we are going to start with our zipper pull going to the left. We are going to put our zipper nice and centered on our main exterior panel with the zipper pull closing to the left. Make sure it's definitely centered. If not, go ahead and readjust. It's important because we do not want to catch those tabs or that zipper when we go to sew this together. Once you have that secured good, you can baste that on if you want, but I'm just going to go in with my lining piece and I'm going to stick it right sides together like so, sandwiching that zipper tape, matching up those centers. You're going to put your zipper foot on if you have taken it off, and we are going to sew across there. so that is done. Now you're going to flip these wrong sides together like so, kind of match up the center to hold it out of the way. Go ahead and do the same with the opposite two panels. Okay, so this is what we got here. Now we haven't done any top stitching yet. You want to pull these nice and tight away from the zipper teeth, nice and even, nice and taut. And then what we're going to do is we are going to top stitch this just from where the zipper starts to where the zipper tab ends. You're not going to do your top stitching any further than that. So I'm going to start at where my zipper is curvy on one side. I'm going to come to the end of my zipper tab, then I'm going to top stitch across the far end of my zipper tab to the other side, and then top stitch up that other side to where our zipper tape curvy part begins again. Sure, we kept those ends so they can move freely of one another, which they do. Open up your zippers halfway here and on the bottom. You're going to bring your exteriors right sides together and your linings right sides together. You want to match up all of your seams to make sure you're going to have nice clean lines. And I have my seams all pointing towards my exterior panels, I believe here. Clip down at the sides of all edges. Okay, so I'm actually going to leave my bottom open for turning. It's a little different than the pattern, but that's how I'm going to do it. Now on the lining side here, we're going to start here with a wider seam allowance, branch into the seam allowance about 1.5 inches before we hit the exterior, sew around the exterior with the seam allowance, and then same with the lining side. Before you get back to the bottom, branch out to that larger seam allowance just to make it a little bit snug so it sits nice and tight in the lining. Now you are not sewing your boxed corners, so just up those straight edges, leave the boxed corners unsewn for now. So that's what that looks like. Now we're going to box the exterior corners, so kind of pull them apart like this. It's a little bit hard at first just because they are such small little box corners, but pull those seams together from the side and the bottom. And all I did was nested them together and clipped in place. Same with the opposite side. And then you're going to sew across there with the seam allowance for both boxing those corners. So that's what that looks like. Those corners are boxed. Go ahead and turn this right side out through the hole opening in the bottom of the lining. Poke out your seams and your corners. Make sure everything looks good. My corners look amazing. My seams lined up. When you're happy with that, go ahead and stuff your lining inside once you have everything poked out properly. Kind of gives you an idea what this is going to look like. Make sure your zipper tabs are popped out. Sometimes putting in a little pokey tool here works well. And yes, there is a little hole in the side. That's the way it's supposed to be. Okay, once that looks good, now we can go ahead and close up that bottom. So I'm going to open up my zipper pocket that has the opening in the bottom, reach in and pull out the entire bottom of my lining piece. We're going to match up the straight edge and sew across that straight edge first. And once we have that straight edge sewn, you're going to go in and box the corners exactly like we did with the exterior as well. So go ahead and sew there and box your corners with the larger seam allowance. Okay, so once that is all done, go ahead and stuff that back in through that zipper pocket. Make sure there's no holes in the bottom. Fold in the raw edges of your zipper pocket, clip in place, and then top stitch your zipper pocket shut. Once that is done, stuff your zipper pocket back into where it needs to go, making sure everything is lying flat. And just like that, that is all the sewing to this bag. This is such a fast and satisfying sew. All you have left to do now is to attach your crossbody strap to those D-rings. This could also be a wristlet if you prefer. Pat yourself on the back. This was a super fast, satisfying sew. She looks amazing. And we're done.
All right, that's it. That's all. Piece of cake, hey? Not a hard bag to make, and it just looks as so amazing. So I hope you liked this video. If at any time you did find it useful, please do give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this. Join the Facebook side of the channel. That is linked down below as well. I want to see your Neo crossbodies. And once again, check out the membership side of the channel just in case there is something there that interests you. Anyways, until the next one, I'll catch you guys again. Bye.